on the boards last night. Destroyed. Okay, Aaliyah Boston was out. All right, she grabs 8 rebounds. You're still not close. You're still not close. And it was absolutely ugly. A lot of people were pointing out the Fever wanting to have this short squad. This team's got no length. None.
The fallout from Indiana Fever's preseason loss to the Dallas Wings continued into the following day, with fans directing pointed criticism at the front office and coaching staff over a performance that exposed several roster construction concerns that had been raised since draft day. The final score was 95-80, but the rebounding margin told a sharper story. Dallas pulled down 45 rebounds to Indiana's 26. The Wings also generated 25 assists to the Fever's 15, controlled the paint by a margin of 50-30, and sent their opponents to the free throw line in uncomfortable numbers. More than half of the Fever's total points came from the charity stripe, with the team converting 42 free throw attempts, a figure that speaks to how little the offense functioned from open play.
Justine Passat, she may not even make the team. We're starting to wonder, does Stephanie White want her on the team or not? Right here, of course, it was a 95-80 game. 45 rebounds to 26. I mean, what? What? Distributed the ball better. 25 assists to 15.
Aaliyah Boston was absent from the lineup, and while she averages around 8 rebounds per game, even adding her production back in would not have fully closed the gap against a team widely expected to sit near the bottom of the league standings. The rebounding problem traces back to roster construction. Natasha Howard's departure left a significant length gap in the frontcourt, and the moves made since then did not address it directly. The draft choices drew criticism for prioritizing guard-heavy additions while leaving the frontcourt undersized.
Better. 25 assists to 15. And guys, frankly, the free throw shooting last night, the Wings kind of embarrassed the Fever. There's a problem with this team. We'll get to the agenda of the league in a minute, because Caitlin Clark outperformed Paige Beckers last night. I understand Paige won the game, but the top performer of the night was Caitlin Clark.
Fans pointed out that the Wings had the physical advantage at nearly every spot on the floor, and that difference showed up in every meaningful category from the box score. The absence of a true big has been a talking point since the off-season, and the Wings game gave it a very concrete illustration. Justine Pennant's status also entered the conversation, with Stephanie White offering no firm timeline on Pennant's return from a lower leg injury. Questions emerged about her role on the roster going forward.
Top performer of the night was Caitlin Clark. WNBA is not going to let you think that. They're not going to let you think that. Back at it on Saturday to round out the preseason. Woo! Fans are not missing on this post. If you can't find some rebounds, there won't be many wins this season. I mean, yeah, totally outcoached. White absolutely sucks, and the moron owner.
Some fans pushed for her to receive a genuine opportunity, while others expressed concern that her situation might follow a similar path to other players who were moved on from before their contributions could materialize. On an individual level, Caitlin Clark posted 21 points in 16 minutes of first-half action before leaving the game following a flagrant foul. She was efficient from the field, aggressive in drawing contact, and functioned as the primary engine of the offense when she was on the floor. Paige Buchers finished with 20 points and 4 assists for the Wings in the same time frame, and was named the game's top performer by the league.
And the moron owner's keeper, and the loser cocks around. This was embarrassing loss and proved how bad a coach White is. Boy, I got to tell you. Time is great, and tonight, we urge them to sign Passat, plus also the mess that the Three Stooges made at the draft by getting midgets. People are pissed. Maybe, just maybe, you can get rid of some of the mini point guards.
Clark's supporters noted that her raw output and efficiency during the time she played made a strong case for her being the best player on the floor regardless of the final designation. The starters versus starters portion of the game was used as a reference point by fans analyzing both this result and the earlier Liberty matchup. In that prior game, Indiana's victory was largely built during the stretch when bench units were playing. The Fever's starters had not dominated the Liberty's starters when both sides deployed their full-strength lineups. Against Dallas, the starter matchup went poorly from the second quarter onward, turning a competitive first quarter into a blowout by halftime.
You can get rid of some of the mini point guards you have and get a effing big. I mean, wow. You watched the game last night and you're like, the Wings have towers out there. He got some folks out there, tall folks. Again, it's preseason, but that first half.
Coaching decisions drew scrutiny throughout. The second quarter collapse, which mirrored patterns observed across multiple games, reignited discussion about how effectively defensive schemes are being implemented and whether the current tactical approach is suited to the personnel available. Sophie Cunningham was described as an underutilized presence, with some fans noting she barely factored into the game plan despite being one of the team's more versatile players. The broader concern being raised is about trajectory.
But that first half was an indictment. That first half was an indictment. Look, I wasn't the biggest proponent of a Natasha Howard, but silly me thinking you were going to sign somebody to replace her length that she actually had in the lineup. Shame on me for thinking that you were going to draft somebody younger and
across fans who follow the team closely, regardless of their individual stance on any particular decision or personnel move, the shared observation is that engagement with the Fever is declining. Viewership numbers, social analytics, and ticket sales for upcoming games have all reflected a cooling of the enthusiasm that surrounded the team heading into last season. The injury situation from 2025, the roster decisions made since, and the on-court results of the early preseason period have combined to create a level of skepticism that did not exist at this point a year ago.
Draft somebody younger and somebody that was going to be a big. How about this? I better not see Caitlin Clark on the Ortho Indy report. How did you beat the Liberty to lose to the Wings, especially after Stephanie said the goal wasn't winning tonight? I mean, wow. More than half of the Fever's points were on free throws, 42 free throws for 80 points. Not looking so hot.
Whether the regular season changes, that picture remains to be seen, but the preseason has not provided much early reassurance. The Indiana Fever and Dallas Wings are scheduled to face each other for the second day of the regular season, making this preseason meeting a useful early look at how both rosters are taking shape. The expectations heading into the contest differ significantly depending on which side of the court is being analyzed.
So I'm at a wedding in France on Saturday, and then I'm at a wedding the following Friday in Rome. So I'm going straight from the wedding in France to the wedding in Rome. So you're going to see me in hotels till Tuesday week. So for another, after today, it'll be about 10 days. Either way, my expectations is the Dallas Wings are going to go all out. The Dallas Wings are going to go all out here. They are going to, especially to start the game, they're going to try to get Paige and AZ very.
Dallas is anticipated to come out with genuine competitive drive, particularly in the opening minutes. The focus will likely center on getting Paige Buchers and Azzi Ford into the game early and building offensive rhythm around them. With Arike unavailable, Ford essentially fills that backcourt slot, and the coaching staff may use this game to explore what that three-guard look produces in terms of spacing and shot creation.
Especially to start the game, they're going to try to get Paige and AZ very involved. My guess maybe is that they're trying to see how it'll look with Arike, so they might start Zaza James. And just because she is the closest thing to Arike they have, just to see how it works. Arike might not play a preseason game. Just to kind of get an idea of the type of game that you're going to be playing and the type of looks that you can get with a Paige, Arike, and with Paige, Enrique, and AZ backcourt. So AZ Foot's obviously there. I think she's going to...
Ford is expected to operate off movement and attempt shots from different areas rather than functioning purely as a stationary shooter, which reflects the broader expectation that a top draft selection needs to contribute beyond spot-up situations. Flo Jo has been drawing attention as a player who may outperform those expectations at the position. Buchers enters the season noticeably different physically than she was a year ago.
Well, I think they're going to run a lot through AZ. I think Paige knows she can get hers. I think they're going to try figure out ways of getting AZ involved. It is the it's so funny, the Paige and AZ stands, like how little they know about basketball. Like AZ was in a shooting drill, and then she shot the ball like 10 times, and then one of the times she just didn't hold her follow through, and it's like, oh my god, she never did that. It's a new thing to her game, not holding her follow through, and I'm like,
the added muscle is substantial and visible, putting her closer in build to where Clark was after her own off-season conditioning work. For Buchers specifically, the added size carries less risk than it did for a player whose game depends on straight-line speed. Her effectiveness comes from deception, directional changes, and the ability to manipulate defensive positioning until a defender is off balance or lunging.
What the fuck is going on? That is what people that a lot of time when they're in a rhythm do. Like, you see it with shooters everywhere. It's not a new thing to anyone's game when they get into a zone and they almost don't even go to their form. They just chuck the ball into the basket. And it's like, oh my god, it's the fastest release ever. And I'm like, her release is super quick, but not holding your follow through does not make your release quick.
That style holds up well regardless of added weight, and may even allow her to operate more aggressively in the mid-range and closer to the paint. Indiana's approach is expected to be largely unstructured. The Fever are unlikely to run organized half-court sets and will probably distribute minutes heavily toward players on the roster bubble, younger developmental options, and fringe training camp candidates.
Make your release quicker. Everything up to that point. And then they were going mad, being like, they're trying to add a dip into her shot. And she caught the ball here, brought it to here. And I'm like, oh my god. AZ, and the thing with AZ Foot is that most people, you dip for rhythm. 99% of shooters dip for rhythm. AZ Foot, the more I look at her shoot, she brings it to here. She brings it to her dip is just higher. It's the same with Kayla McBride. She doesn't just, people are talking.
Megan McConnell and Shatori Walker-Kimbrough are both likely to see extended time. Maisha Hines-Allen is expected to be heavily involved offensively regardless of lineup combinations. Clark is projected to play no more than 16 minutes.
Brings it to here. She brings it to her dip is just higher. It's the same with Kayla McBride. She doesn't just, people are talking about it, she just kind of fucks the ball from wherever she catches it. No. She brings it to here instead of here. The difference between what AZ Fudd does versus someone that dips into a jump shot, as long as it's not a big, deliberate, massive dip, it's fractions of a fraction of a second. As long as the ball's brought to a set point for rhythm, you can be confident that she'll shoot the ball. I think we're going to see a lot of AZ.
The expectation is that she uses the time to shoot her way into a rhythm rather than operate within any particular system. She has a tendency to produce in clusters rather than at a steady pace, both in scoring and in playmaking, and one strong quarter from her would be considered a satisfactory outcome given the exhibition context. Kelsey Mitchell's minutes will likely be restricted.
Easy dribbling the ball and trying out shit, because let's be real, she's the number one pick. She's supposed to be more than just a spot-up shooter. That is what we are. What she was meant to be. Especially what Flau'jae is doing. If AZ's a spot-up shooter, and I'm so happy. I said it from the very start, and I was like,
Raven Johnson is one of the more interesting variables on the Indiana side. She may not enter as a starter, but could come off the bench early and take on primary responsibility guarding Buchers. That matchup alone gives the game some genuine watchable quality outside of the broader Clark-Buchers narrative.
I'm so happy. I said it from the very start, and I was like, I would take Flau'jae over AZ. I would take Flau'jae, and it's looking like that might be a right decision. Flau'jae might be the rookie of the year. And I was like, even just basketball-wise, I'm like, Yeah, sorry. I would take Flaugy number one. It's like AZ definitely projects to be the super role player. But it's like, do you use number one, a super role player? But yeah, it is an interesting one. I don't see Paige looking for a shot very much. I think she knows who she is. She knows that she is the best isolation scorer in
The overall preseason this year has been noticeably lower in competitive intensity compared to the previous one. Teams that pushed hard in exhibition play last spring have largely pulled back this time around, treating the games as controlled evaluation windows rather than genuine contests. That context shapes what both rosters are realistically trying to accomplish before the regular season begins.